How you doing? Cancer patients have problems with your sleep. Do you have rough nights? Does the cancer interfere with your sleep too? Ready to puke? Any certain issues that you have consistently that most of the paperwork or the medical practice or whatever tells you that, oh, well, everything should be, you should be feeling much better now. You should start to notice a huge difference, but you don't. Let me know. Let me know if those are things that you experience as well. And what are some of the things that you do to help? For me, one of my main forms of medicine that I use is cannabis. That helps me dramatically. It really, really is one of my biggest sources of relief, especially for my nausea, my appetite, the pain, all of that. And because of all the PTSD, having gone through cancer and dealing with leukemia, and how you just live in that constant, I don't want to say fear, but that it's just in the back of your mind that it's still there. It's in your blood. It'll never go away. They don't have a cure for leukemia yet. So, for leukemia patients, no matter how hard we try to just forget it, that it does, that it's it's not there. We know it's there. And as I continually say, it's not a matter of if the cancer is going to return, it's a matter of when for leukemia patients. And so it can be a stressful experience for many people, the patient, their family. you know. My husband and my son are always curious, when, if it's, every time I'm throwing up or, curled up in a ball and unable to eat, is it back? And that's something a lot of leukemia patients deal with and their family. So these are normal um, long-term effects of having leukemia, and short-term. You know, as you get diagnosed, it is probably one of the most terrifying experiences you'll have, hearing those words. Hearing you have cancer is terrifying, but when you understand what leukemia is and that it's a blood cancer and it doesn't go away even after chemotherapy, um, they get rid of as much of it as they can, but there's always the cells that are in there and that will continue to mutate. um, it's just a matter of if what the numbers are of their mutation. And for different leukemia patients, they have different mutations, which means different types of treatments. And so leukemia is a difficult road to travel, but not impossible. And don't ever give up. That's the key. Don't give up. There's still a lot out there to see, and there's a lot out there to do. And, I'm coming up on, this is my son's senior year. We're going to be coming up on there in the next year, and that's exciting. That's something I definitely want to be a part of, and more. So, never give up. Hashtag never give up. That's how we roll, right? So, again, cannabis, that's one of my, you know, go-to tips and tools that I use and medicines that I choose to use. Another thing is that I keep like a little snack next to my bed, like peanut butter pretzels or some kind of cracker based thing for the bile and all the, because I wake up and I'm ready to just throw up, and then it's always that bile, and it's just horrifyingly painful and horrible, and it's not good on your throat and your esophagus. You know, that stuff is, it's really bad for it. So you really want to avoid it as much as possible. So I use a lot of different tactics to try and do that. You know, so again, I use the cannabis, and I use different, I'll have little crackers by my bedside. That way I can easily get to them and get a few little nibbles in, and that sometimes will help settle things down to where it's not just right up in there, you know. And those are some of the tips. I hope they help you, but those are some of the things that I choose to use to help me get through my leukemia. And again, I have two forms of leukemia. This is both AML and CMML. Um, and I have gone through the chemotherapy, and I went through OHSU, which again I highly recommend. They are, you know, leading in the research for cancer. They want to, you know, their goal is to cure cancer, you know, within the next decade. And that's a pretty hefty goal, and they are bound and determined to do it. My doctor and all of the other oncologists there, that's what they do. They specify in those specific cancers. So my doctor, she, you know, Dr. Uma Barate at OHSU, she specialized in leukemia forms of cancer. So that is where her time is spent on that. It's not with cervical cancer or breast cancer and different forms of cancer. So she's able to laser focus and hyper focus, you know, on those treatments and finding a cure. And so, you know, that is how OHSU handles all of their cancer patients. So they have a division for each of the different types of cancer, and that is, again, specifically what their doctors work on are those specific cancers only. So again, I highly recommend, if you are dealing with AML, to go to OHSU. Just give them, you know, give them a chance. You know, there's probably other alternatives out there, but for me, OHSU saved my life. When I was brought into the hospital, I had two hemoglobins. So that is, you know, I'm a walking, talking miracle. And so if I can come from that depth of, you know, I was having near death experiences, I was fading in and out of this world. Trust me, I had died plenty of times, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. I had done it so many times I had lost track of, you know, where I was. And so, you know, that are dealing with cancer are experiencing it in our own different ways. But there are a lot of things that we are experiencing that are similar. So I hope this helps you, and I hope we can all stick together and just keep inspiring one another to never give up, because leukemia is a battle, and it's in our blood to fight this all the way through. So I'm here for you, and let's do this thing together. So join me on this journey, and let's share our tips and our hurts and our truths, because a lot of times it's not it's not easy to talk to people that don't understand. Your family and your friends, they don't want to hear about it for whatever reason. They just don't want to hear about it a lot of times. And so, that's not a negative thing. It could be out of fear. They don't want to lose you. So talking about it makes it real. And even though it's so real for you, and we have to deal with it, it's still hard for other people because it's not something they have to deal with on a second by second basis, you know. So we also have to give those us around, those around us a break, and try and, you know, understand it from their point of view as well, which can be hard because when you have cancer, it can be a very selfish time because you really want to work on your, getting yourself better. But another thing I've noticed with cancer patients is you work really hard trying to make everybody else feel like it's going to be okay, and you exhaust yourself making everyone else feel okay. And sometimes, we have to be okay with not being okay. And there's truth in that, you know. And the more we share our truths with one another, the the more understanding that will come out of all of this. And there's so much confusion with leukemia, and there's not a lot that's known about it. As you've probably found out trying to find information on leukemia. And I'm not sure what kind of leukemia you may have, you know. There's many forms, but regardless, you know, it's no fun either way, and it is terrifying. So again, we're here together. We're all in this together, and let's all share our unique experiences and cherish this time we have. You know, here, we're at least not many people are given the opportunity to say bye. And so maybe we at least get that opportunity, or we get that moment to cherish this time in our life, whatever that may be for us. So I look forward to sharing my story, and and the tools and the tips and the things that I do to make it through each day. And I look forward to hearing what you do as well. And hopefully we'll build this leukemia group together, one subscriber at a time. See you later. Thanks for listening. Take care.